Time for us now to check in with the Better Business Bureau, and Megan McBride is here with us. Megan, good morning.
Morning, Hank. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you brought with you today Ed Peters from Exterior Solutions. And Ed Peters, Exterior Solutions. Ed, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Radio Worcester, for having me.
Well, let's talk, Ed, a little bit about your business. So, Exterior Solutions. So, I'll tell you, I've got a spot that I think should hire you. They just put in new windows at East Middle School here in the city of Worcester, but the building itself is about 110 years old. It's this brick building. Now, you do the power washing. Now, my guess is that you could come in with those new windows and make that exterior look a lot better than it does after 110 years of grime and pollution and everything else that gets on the outside of a building.
Absolutely, sir. We do all different phases of restoration, especially on buildings, concrete, all different types of material as well. And we're going to give that building a brand new, fresh look.
Yeah, see, I love that. That to me is what is amazing. Big Ben and I, the last place that we had, our studio for Radio Worcester before we came here to Sherwood's Diner was, again, in a building that was a terrific building, but it had to be 100 years old, and they bring in some people to do the power washing, and it is amazing the difference that it makes. Ed, tell me about these different surfaces on some of these buildings and the difference that you can make.
Well, sir, it all depends on, what type of material that it was made at. Now that we understand that these buildings are sometimes over 100 years old, we want to preserve that material as well. We don't want to scar it with any kind of wild chemicals or anything like that. So another good thing is also to kind of do our research. So what we want to do is kind of talk to the building manager, talk to the tenants, see, what their needs are first, and then look at what, their projection is of what the outcome's going to be. Like, try to give them a tangible asset. Like, hey, we're going to make this place look brand new, or hey, this kind of stuff is not our cup of tea. You might have to talk to somebody else. So we're very transparent with what we can and cannot do.
How much of your business, Ed, is businesses, and how much is the homeowner?
To be honest with you, I'm very fortunate now to have a pretty good mix of both. In the beginning, it was a little bit of just kind of residential. I was just kind of grassroots. Now that I'm getting my name out in the community a little bit more, I've had some more businesses, and also kind of putting myself out in the community has kind of helped me grow in a way, kind of volunteering, getting to know this community, considering that I'm not actually an original person from Worcester.
Well, unless you were here 300 years ago, who is? I mean, the way we're... The way that we look at things in any city or town. Tell me about doing it with homes, because I'm curious about that. What do most people want? Is it just that their home started to look a little bit dingy, or what are they after?
Well, to be honest with you, living here in New England, we kind of are at the elements at all times. So what happens here in New England is a lot of the homes that are facing in a northern direction don't get direct sunlight all the time. So what they do is they grow algae, mold, and lichen. You're going to see all this throughout New England, pretty much throughout the United States. And what'll happen is throughout time, it'll get worse and worse. And then finally one day, someone's like, we got to get rid of this. And either, they go online and they look up for a service, or they try to do it themselves. We pride ourselves in having I would say, the skills and the know-how, and also our years of expertise of using these chemicals, and then all the different opportunities and ways to clean a house.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't really know that. So I've learned something here today. And I'll let Megan take over in a second here. When somebody is going to do power washing, what's the difference between a trained professional like you and I just go out there and I get that power washer and I decide I'm going to blast the side of my house or garage or something?
To be completely honest with you, I was one of those guys that went out there, bought a power washer, and watched a YouTube video and was like, I could do this. Then I found out by messing up my own house. So what it was, it comes with practice, and then also some training. Just a little bit with pressure and understanding that, standing too close and far away, utilizing the tips. They're all different colored for a reason, to give you different degrees of angularity as well as pressure.
Interesting.
And not only that, Ed, but I was doing a little stalking this morning on your website just to get more familiar with your business. You said that you pride yourself on the chemicals that you use because a lot of them are eco-friendly. Could you talk about that? Because that's really important in today's age. We need a green earth.
Yes, absolutely. So in the beginning, I think a lot of guys in today's market have to be versatile. You can't be just I'd say a one-trick pony. So a lot of times you go to a house, I do an estimate, you see that there's this beautiful horticulture, there's nice landscape, and they don't want you to come there and throw this caustic, acidic chemicals, acids, all kinds of different stuff that we use in the field. So what we have to do is come up with different supplements. We have to do our research. So what I try to do is I go out there and I find these locally sourced companies. Sometimes they're right here in Worcester, and then other times we have to look outsourced. But a lot of times I try to talk to the customer, see what their needs are, see what type of vegetation it is, and then try to figure out a happy medium so that we all win.
Mm-hmm. So you're really building the trust with your consumers and your customers, which brings me to my next point. I want to talk about your accreditation journey. I know you were telling me a little bit about it before we hopped on the radio, but why did you choose to become accredited? Or were you already accredited and just kind of inherited it? Because we had a business on last week, Hank, who had said that their accreditation has been so long that a lot of the original people aren't there anymore, but they still keep it because they see the value in it.
Well, I could speak to that real quick. I just remember as a young man growing up, and both my parents were entrepreneurs and business owners, and they all spoke very highly of the Better Business Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce. And then also, getting involved in your community. And I remember as a kid going into establishments, seeing that big letter A, the A+, or seeing it on the side of a truck or a van, and in my mind saying, wow, they're legit. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to be part of that, and I knew that would bring to the table my customers some assurance that, okay, he's involved with the community, he's met this criteria, and we're ready to play ball.
That's a great way to put it, and I don't know that we've had people who have put it in quite such a wonderful, succinct way, that
Yeah.
it does show that you are a member in good standing of the whole community and that you are out there being involved in your community.
Yeah, and I think now with the rise of technology, I think people are really starting to look more seriously into companies and things that they're doing business with because they really want that credibility in all this saturated market today.
It's a great point. Anybody can throw up a website. Anybody can go out there and get an ad on social media. You need the vetting that the BBB does to be able to say this is an accredited business and this business is going to stand behind its work. I still go back to Ed, something that you said, about just like anybody who goes out there and decides they're going to get a power washer and I'm going to clean the side of my house. I'm thinking now of that poor guy who's got the pressure up all the way and standing right next to it and blows some hole in his home or something, or just strips the paint completely off. Does the exact opposite of what he was trying to do. So really, it's going to save you if you actually go out and pay for the professional to come and do it. I think, it really is going to, we really do want to hire you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also another kind of segue into my next phase of business. So in the beginning, I started off as just power washing, gutter cleaning, and then I kind of transitioned into the painting because pretty much every customer was like, hey, do you do painting? Interior, exterior? So then I had to open up the door to this new frontier, and which we started doing here in 2025, and it's been going pretty well. And so now pretty much what I've done is I've segued into an exterior property management service.
Wow. All right. So you really do it all. Tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me everything that Ed Peters Exterior Solutions provides then.
So in the beginning, I joked around. I was like, let me just stay on the outside of the house. Gutter cleaning, power washing. I don't want to go inside and make a mess. So what I did is I kind of tried to master that craft, find out how I can do it in the most effective and efficient way, my pricing transparent so that I'm not giving this customer a price because they live in this neighborhood. It was just, pretty much, hey, this is a flat rate for this kind of gutter job. Then I started getting into repairs, and then I understand that, okay, am I now just offering like an a la carte service? Am I a diner? I'm joking. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, how do I transition and kind of just say, hey, I can and cannot do this. So I kind of had to learn where I could, my latitude and longitude, like, hey, this is too big of a project. So I got into gutter guards, and then the power washing, and also gutter brightening. That's a big one too, because the gutters, they grow up bacteria and the mold on it, and they're originally, most of them are white. So what we do is we clean them up and we do gutter brightening as well.
Very, very interesting. Ed, what else do we need to know, and how do people get in touch with you?
Well, you can find us on our social media pages on edpetersexteriorsolutions.com. We also have our Snap, I believe it's our Instagram page.
Yep.
You can find us on Facebook as well. And then the Better Business Bureau, of course, and the World Wide Web.
Easy to find. Ed Peters Exterior Solutions. Megan, what do we need to know about what's coming up with the BBB?
Oh, there's so much, Hank. We have a lot happening. We have some new lunch and learns that are coming up, so stay tuned for that. Hank, you should totes go. Next, we have on September 25th, 2025, we have our Western Mass Awards at the Boylston Rooms in East Hampton. So looking forward to that. And of course, our territory tour is starting. So we're going to be all over our territory, coming to see all of you and sharing our benefits. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. BBB.org. Ed, thank you so much for coming by today. Megan, always wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much for having me,
Thank you.
guys.